You go in, snatch the cash, get out.
Okay. You can also reset the recording. That'll take you right back to the beginning. Try it. Now for some fun. This here's why you came in the first place. In analysis mode, you get to view and even scan details of the enviro recorded by the BD roller. Focus on the heat, the gun this gonk gets from his buddy at the beginning. Now scan it.
Plan simple. Do nothing odd. Don't get creative. You go in, snatch the cash, get out. And we said we need to go cycle freaks. Got it. And remember, keep on left. That's all you have to leave it at.
Okay, right here. Excellent. Let's move on. Now heads up. In analysis mode, you can ferret out background noise and conversations if the roller got close enough. This tech records everything, every little detail, even the sights and sounds the roller was never aware of. To see the sources of the recorded sensory signals, switch to the audio layer in the editor. Go ahead and try that now. Okay, good. Now you should see several sound signatures in the store. Choose one and hone in on it.
Pack of 6, case of Brosif, and a couple of zappers.
Okay, we have a deal today on 2 flavors, curry and surf and turf.
Everybody!
So, any thoughts?
Unbelievable. Seriously, like what's happening right next to me.
Yeah, it's how BD recording implants work. They pick up everything, all the elements in the background. Then an editor tweaks them, makes them pop. Keep playing with the sound, explore it a bit. We'll move on when you get bored.
Wanna see you kissing the flooring? Money!
Sometimes you can analyze extra layers in the raw, stuff the roller's cyberware picked up.
Like what?
Ev's got Kuroshi optics that grab infrared, meaning you should be able to grab heat signatures from her recording.
Huh. Hella nice.
Scanning works on peeps, too. Walk up to the wounded chick. Try scanning her. Alright, next thing. Scroll forward to the part where our artist gets a lead injection.
Or I will fucking drop you, I swear to God! Well, now, fucking head off!
See that? They shot him and he never saw it coming. But you will. Here it comes. My favorite part of the game. See the blinking thing over the entrance? Surveillance cam. Must have caught our shooter. You'll see in a sec. Cam feeds to the screen behind the clerk. Roll back to where the screen's in the kid's field of vision, then scan it. His own Chumba shot him. Probably planned to all along. Must have got a nice slice of cred on the black market for a BD like this. BD freaks are ready to pay a preem for a real flatline. Anyway, if you've seen enough, you can exit. Yeah, it's impressive, right? It's too bad most of the BDs we do here are only good for flogging the log.
So Braindance is a pretty big part of the Cyberpunk universe. It's not just something used for adult films. There is an awful lot to it. And there's 2 sides I'd really like you guys to help me explore. First is the lore, so how this actually fits into the universe. And then there's the gameplay side, so how players will be interacting with it. So Patrick, could you tell us more about the lore of Braindance?
I would love to. So in the world of Cyberpunk 2077, Braindance was invented way back in the early 2000s at UC Santa Cruz. It was developed as a way of recording a person's experiences and then playing them back for someone else, so that they could relive them as though it was happening to them. It was originally used for things like therapy and prisoner rehabilitation, but by 2077 it's become this global media industry, including things like movies, mass entertainment, things like that, video games, some interactive things, and of course adult fare as well. Now in our game we deal a lot with black brain dances, or XBDs as we call them, and there are different types of those, but the one that you saw in the trailer just there was a flatliner. Now that's where the person recording it actually dies during the recording, and it's popular with sort of an illicit kind of a thrill, but a mercenary can also use them for various things, and you'll see that in the game, of course.
And from the gameplay perspective, we have been working a lot throughout last years trying to figure out the best way how to use the braindance in the game as a mechanics. So what we have settled on is this braindance editor mode. As a player, you will be able to run the braindance in the editor mode and see different clues that have been registered on the peripheral of given actor. Now, as a player, you can slide on the timeline of the recording, back and forth, trying to uncover different clues. And that clues are actually telling a story in the game. So, as a player, you will run different investigations that will lead you to different mysteries, and you will uncover them actually using that braindance as a mechanics in the game.
So, as Pavel was saying, we use Braindance as a storytelling tool. It's not a collectible. It's not something where you're going to go in and you're going to play it and you're going to be like, I've seen this before. What we use Braindance for is to give you a keyhole into the life of the residents of Night City. And we can explore things like childhood trauma, religion, various philosophical ideas in a way that you might not otherwise experience in a story about a mercenary on the tough streets.
So we've tried to talk about some of the aspects that we think the community will find really exciting, but while you're both here, I'd love to know, what is it about Cyberpunk that you guys are really excited for? Patrick, why don't you start?
So one of the things that I'm most excited about in this game is the characters and the way they interact with the world. We've got this really interesting world that stretches all the way back to the Cyberpunk 2020 source material and all of these events and all of those things, but those don't mean anything unless they connect with characters. And so when we come up with a character, we start with their function. What is this person? What do they do in the story? But we don't stop there. We go back and we figure out, what was their childhood like? What was their upbringing like? What kind of obstacles did they face in this harsh reality, and did they overcome them? And how did they overcome them, or did they not overcome them, and why? And you can see all of those things in their environment, in their dialogues, in sort of how they operate in the world. And we come up with that for all of our characters. Now, you look at someone like Victor Vector, and you're going to see stories about his past in his environment and in his dialogue. We come up with that stuff even if we don't use it in the game, because it helps inform us as to who these characters are.
And for me, I would not be myself if I would not say that I'm the most excited about our quests. Like with our Witcher 3 team, with Patrick and like everybody that has stayed with us since the Witcher 3 time, we really have grown so much. We have learned so much, and we have used all that experience to put them into the quest that we have made. And you will not find really a filler in this game. Like, everything has a meaning. Like, we put so much effort into making sure that everything is rewarding, is interesting, is talking about characters, as Patrick said, is talking about worlds, is talking about emotions, like touching the player in a really, like a real way. And I just can't wait to find out what you think.
Pavel, I know you mentioned story and quests and writing quests, and when I was last in the studio, I had a look and I saw a notebook on your desk, and I would love for you to show everybody this notebook.
Okay, Holly, I mean, you asked for it. So this is my notebook. It says Salsa Quest Designer. The reason is because I dance salsa, and I'm a quest designer, so you know. So I started this notebook actually when we were really starting Cyberpunk. At the very beginning, I wrote like a first note, and it says pretty much something along the lines of that we were starting with a prototype. And then, I kept on basically noting things that we've been working on for like next years. I remember once when our concept artists actually approached me, and they said that they want to take a look on my notebook. And I was like, what for actually? And they took some pictures, and they told me, because we are looking for a reference material for notes of a psychopathic killer. You may find maybe some of my notes in the game.
Pavel and Patrick, thank you so much for joining me. I'm pretty lucky because I have read some of the stories that you and the team have written for Braindance, and I'm pretty excited for people to discover them. But before we do finish today's episode, there is just one more thing we'd like to talk about. Earlier in this episode, I mentioned that media have been getting hands-on with the opening of Cyberpunk 2077, and they should be posting their impressions right about now. And if you missed anything from today's episode, don't worry, we'll be uploading everything to our channels very soon. And finally, on behalf of everybody at CD Projekt Red, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us for this very first episode of Night City Wire. But don't worry, we'll be back with episode 2 in just a few weeks. So, we shall see you soon. But don't worry, we'll be back with episode 2 in just a few weeks. So, we shall see you soon.
And that's it for The Wire. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Twitch Gaming. My name is Jesse Cox, your host for this post show. We have got a lot to talk about. Mostly because what time is it? 9:25? Can I say this yet? They said it. People have played the game. People have played the game. I've played the game. So I know a lot. I have a lot of answers for you. If you're saying to yourself, I have a lot of questions, hopefully and when Philip joins me, we can talk about those. Philip is the senior quest designer for Cyberpunk, and so we're going to get crazy with it. We have a bunch of things we want to talk about. As you can see, we have, Twitch polls, Twitch chat. If you're over there, I see you right now just spamming away. But if you have questions or thoughts, by all means, I would love to hear what you think. And I will try my hardest to answer the questions that I can. So right away, what you saw there, the just really quickly rundown of what's going on. At the top, we had the trailer, and in the trailer, you got to see some more of the different quests and things that you would go on. All of it's from the intro, y'all. Everything that you saw in that trailer was from at least what I played the first 4 hours of the game. I was like, oh, I know what that is. I know what that is. I know what that is. So you have questions about that? I got answers for you. We learned about the Moxies and how they run, I don't want to say seedy underbelly, because it's definitely not. They definitely have some sort of control over the city, but they're all former and or current sex workers who are running a bar that you have to go to at some point in the intro. And then we learned some more about kind of the brain dance and what you'll be doing with that. And I will say, one of the coolest parts of... They didn't really... See, right there, there's the Moxie bar that you can go to. And you can sort of see the way the city looks. It's... I almost just want to let this run through and shut up.
The major leagues. We're only here because Dex is pulling the strings. Doubt that puts us in the same league as them.
But we are. They just don't know it yet. But if you got the cojones and you know how to use them, you can do damn near anything.
Unless you catch a bullet.
Even then, you go out with a bang, right?
You know, you can make heaps more eddies as a motivational speaker.
Yo, Mr. V, a pleasure.
So what's the gig, Dex? You meant to come out in one piece? How about we go over the plan?
There's this prototype tech, a biochip to be precise. Job's to grab it.
Guessing it belongs to a corp.
Arasaka.
We're robbing some heavy hitters.
Thought you could blackmail me, fucker?
High risk, high reward. First rule of the afterlife. Ka-ting, baby.
Goes without saying, we do this on the hush. Ideally, no bodies, not a one.
Sounds simple enough.
He's lead, assholes!
Is it gonna be dangerous?
Don't you worry, mi amor. We're bulletproof.
Get your ass moving now!
What the fuck just happened in there?
Can't stop digging Night City.
Fucking major leagues. Happy now, Jackie?
Yep, that's fucking high! Time to bail!
Oh my god, we're so fucked.
Dex, what the fuck?
Can't risk it, V.
And you, who are you?
Fuck.
It's gonna be amazing. So based on what I have played already of the game, just give you a really quick example. I don't know if we can go to like a specific point in that trailer, but there's one point where there's like a dude and it looks like you're on a basketball court and your character kind of pushes him. That is one of the many examples of how you interact with people in the city. So in that scenario, you play as a corpo, right? And so you are trying to land at the Moxie's bar, and you can't land on the street, so your hovercraft lands on a basketball court kind of above the bar, and you, or the club, and so you land in the middle of a basketball game, and these guys come up to you like, what are you doing? And you have the option to engage with them or not. And depending on how you handle it, things happen, right? You could, be the corporate guy and not at all. Be like, I don't even deal with these people. Or you could just get in a fight. Like, there's so many amazing ways to handle stuff. It's actually really neat. Going back to the brain dance, right? The way the brain dance is set up in the game, it isn't just like, you walk in a room and a thing happens. There's a whole storyline that leads into it. And the entire time it feels like, I don't even know. I don't want to say it feels like you're in the Matrix, because that's not at all what it's, but it has that vibe. Like, it is so neat to go through the process of, getting into the club, meeting your contact, and you do like this kind of flirtatious dance thing. And then she invites you downstairs and you're like, I don't know what is about to happen right now. And you go down, and she leads you to go meet the character you saw during the brain dance segment. And it starts you on this journey of like figuring out what a brain dance is. And as you can see, this is just one part of the game. It's one part of the game where you can kind of go into people's memories and experience what they experienced and rewind, highlight certain parts. I imagine you'll be using it